blue eyes. Yeah, just very basic. Like nothing that really stands out like crazy.
I think like when I think of Eurocentric beauty standards, I just think of the norm and what's perceived as beautiful in Western society. So like tall girl with fuller features, but like who's still skinny.
I believe that, what I get from that is that the white, European beauty is what is considered normal, and that if you're not of that color, or if you don't have those certain features, then you're not considered beautiful by Eurocentric standards.
Well, I would mostly consider them to be like white standards, like anything that came from Europe, essentially, anything that has been passed down from from white people in Europe to be beautiful.
Both my parents are immigrants from Ethiopia, and if you know, like that's in Eastern Africa, and like people tend to be like lighter skin tones there. And my mom, like over the summer, like when I get really tan because I'm like outside a lot because I play tennis, like she would like not get mad, but like be like, oh my god, like she would like wouldn't be able to like wait for winter because like I'd have like lighter skin again, and that's like something I don't know. I never really like cared. Like I kind of just like brushed it off, but like I think that's kind of like a standard that's been like suppressed upon like generations. It's not just like young people. Also like straightening your hair is like a big thing. I used to straighten my hair all the time. It's like middle school, like that weird transition phase, like early high school, and then I just was like, why am I doing this? So I just stopped. And, yeah.
I do straighten my hair pretty often, so I guess that would count as one of the things. But I guess I physically, like innately fitted, so.
I think only one time I tried to straighten my hair, but I failed miserably. Like it was just like one night. I was like, what would it look like if my hair was straight? And I tried to have that like fade look, and with all my hair looking like those actors or whatever on screen. But besides that, I've always kind of loved the way I've looked.
No. Definitely when I was younger, but not anymore.
That's what people have been saying.
Yeah.
Like, which is a good thing.
I think it's just like the wider acceptance of like just being who you are, and a lot of like Black Power movements coming back, I think. Also acceptance in media representation is such an important part of that.
I feel like I definitely used to when I was younger. Not as much anymore. As you get older, I don't know, I accepted my culture more as I got older. But when I was younger, I definitely did try to look as Caucasian as I can.
What do you
Like, I don't know, it could be like, not even look, because I can't physically change the way I look, but like act, stuff, the stereotype, I follow, I don't know. It'd be like, for example, just like even my haircut. Like you could, when I first got my haircut, it was just like people thought I was like I had like white boy hair or something. I was just always trying to like flip it up that way and stuff. So.
Middle school, like early high school, I would always like straighten my hair. Like I don't know, I'd never like go natural, which is like a thing now, because I think that like at that time, like 2011, it was like that it wasn't like cool, like it wasn't like a trend for like people to like go natural, like it wasn't like glamorized on social media, like like now it is. And it's like, and I think that it's a good thing really, because like it motivates people, like allows people to feel like more accepted in like what they want to do and like things that are healthy for them. Like it's so much healthier to do that than to like damage your hair, so
100%. Yeah, I mean, on Instagram and every social media platform, like one body type is perceived as beautiful, I think, which is definitely hard for any young woman growing up.
Yes, I follow so many models, and I'm constantly like trying to make my body look more like theirs.
I'm not really huge on social media in general. I think I have like 6 Instagram posts
Probably
in the last 2 years. So.
Probably, but I think I was so much more aware of it when I was younger, and maybe now I might just be able to like throw it off in my brain. But I don't think I follow anyone now specifically to be like, oh my god, like her abs are great. Like I want those. Yeah, I don't think anyone has like really influenced me recently. At least.
Personally, no. It doesn't. I feel like it applies more towards, unfortunately, like women. I feel like there's more of a stereotype about how a woman is supposed to look online than it is for a guy. So personally, I don't know. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've always been a very, like, lanky, like, tall and lanky person. And I used to be, like, pretty self-conscious about it because, like, I remember, I keep talking about, like, middle school and, like, early high school, but those were, like, probably the most, like, fundamental years in terms of, like, finding yourself. But I remember, like, there would always be, like, people would be like, oh, like, you need to be, like, pro, like, curves and, like, all of this stuff, which is, like, true. But also, like, it was almost, I don't know, like, when I think of, like, Meghan Trainor, like, she has all these songs about, like, it's literally, like, skinny shaming, kind of. Like, it's, like, I don't know. It's not like I try to be, like, thin. Like, I just am born, like, I'm just naturally, like, my parents both, when they were young, very thin people. Like, it's just, like, genetically, I, like, am built like this. And it's almost like I like, feel guilty that I have, like, a certain body type that is, because, like, people are always like, oh, like, models, like, it's such, like, an unrealistic beauty standard for, like, this and this and this. And then, like, at the same time, they're, like, putting down people that, like, naturally or even unnaturally have that type of body. Like, I feel like body positivity isn't really body positivity. It's, like curvy positivity.
I think I used to, especially in high school, but I'm trying to, like, distance myself from caring about that, if that makes sense. Just, like, to have more peace of mind.
Yes, definitely. I always try to make myself look taller and skinnier, and make my arms look as skinny and little as possible.
Well, at least with me, I'm tall, so that's a huge part of, I guess, I feel like that's more like awkward standing. Like, I have to be in a good place where I don't seem too much taller than someone else, because that's an awkward photo. I've definitely tried to make myself look shorter in photos, that way it's not like, whoa, she's a giant.
Don't really care that much. I don't think that, like, I will not post something because it's, like, not really the norm. But I'm sure that, like, if you asked me, like, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or even, like, my peers, that, yeah, like, it would be that. And also not even just for, like, someone who is a person of color. Like, I think that, like, even, like, white people, too, will, like, actually, like, from what I, like, have noticed, at least from the people that I follow.
Yes, I definitely try to alter myself all the time, and I guess it's an underlying effect of these standards that have been created.
I think partially, as somebody who has some features that aren't completely Eurocentric or, like, the norm, I think that I judge myself a lot harsher.
No, not really. I mean, I would say as a black person who definitely looks more on the whiter side, I guess maybe that's why I've never exactly felt that way, but I do have friends who are of color who have felt a little oppressed in that way, just because all the images you see, marketing and such, are mostly, in movies, television, and all that type of stuff is more white than anything, so that can definitely have an impact on your life.
Sometimes, I think coming into college, that was a huge thing because, like, I'd never really gone out or anything, and I wasn't really big. I liked social media, but I didn't have, like, a large following or anything like that. I still don't really. But, like, going into that and then the culture of going out and stuff like that, I always tried to like mold what I would dress like, so that way I would be like more attractive to other people to either talk to or like get with or whatever. So yeah, like I definitely used to do it a lot more than I do now. I don't care anymore.
Not as much anymore, so maybe when I was younger.
And do you? Yeah, because like it's kind of annoying to me to think about how like something that I'm not is the norm, and also like the fact that it's not even that, it's the fact that I'm not that. It's just the whole like premise and idea of the fact that it's something that I will never be able to change and no one will ever be able to change about themselves. Like you can't change what you were born with or how you were born, so like even if you benefit from these standards, like you can't change the fact that you benefit from them, like, and if you don't, then you can't change that either. So yeah, I don't know, it is frustrating because it's like sometimes I think about it and I'm just like, wow, like this situation would be so much better if I were white.
Definitely more inclusive. A lot of large companies like Aerie and Dove have created a lot of campaigns that are more inclusive, but there is still this underlying idea that, oh yeah, they're inclusive, but that's still not the ideal standard.
You were going to say something about the Kardashians.
Oh yeah, I think the Kardashians have definitely changed some of the standards as well. Like now, having a bigger butt, having bigger lips, and like more voluptuous body, that is considered one of the higher standards. But at the same time, the skinny Eurocentric beauty standard is still there. So
I think it's a yes and no, because I think if you look like at the model industry or social media, you know, plus size models are becoming more outspoken and people are talking about modeling experiences more. But with the rise of social media platforms, you also have like Instagram models who have Eurocentric beauty standards just completely like overpowering everybody.
Yeah, I think so. I think,
More inclusive?
yeah, definitely more inclusive. I mean, there's just so far to go that like it's kind of just baby steps at this point. But I think people are definitely realizing more that we need to have more diversity in all aspects of our media, and I think we're making progress. It's like I said, there's just so far to go that it's like it's gonna be a long time before it's like inclusive completely. But I think we are making some steps.
I think there's a really big push to accept everyone's body, background, life, the way that they're born. I feel like being natural and more transparent is a really big part of that, especially with social media. Like, there's a push now to be more real on social, which is different from what it used to be, in that people like don't use filters as much, or like there's a lot of push about like being real and talking about mental health and stuff like that, or people being able to like call other people out about something that they did wrong that affected them personally. I think that has to do with it.
I feel like they've gotten more inclusive, because I feel it's just everything in general. And fashion is more acceptable of all different types of like people and like their style. So I definitely feel like it's been more inclusive now.
I don't really think it's become more inclusive per se, but I feel like I don't really know how else to word this, but to me it seems like there's more of like almost like a fetishization of like people of color, sort of like, I don't know, like sometimes like someone will post on like their Instagram like a picture of like SZA, and it's like, oh my god, like SZA, you know, like, and there's always like the tokenized person, like Beyonce or like, I don't know, Nicki Minaj, Cardi, like there's always like a tokenized like black woman figure, black male figure, like Asian figure. There's always like that one or two or handful of people. And so I think that when people like post about it, they're like, oh, like SZA is like my woman crush, like they think that by saying that it's like, oh, like I'm not racist, like I'm not,
I'm inclusive.
yeah, like I'm all inclusive, like I find this person to be like beautiful, but it's like really, it's probably like you just trying to prove to yourself and prove to other people that like, I don't know. And there's definitely like underlying factors that are not being expressed with that.
I agree.